Today's idea of the day is another Star Wars piece. Now, from time to time, I like to talk about Star Wars and some of the little holes that are in the Star Wars universe, and especially the kinds of holes that happened when they created the prequels. Now, this isn't a rant about how much the prequels suck, because for what it's worth, I do enjoy the prequels. They're not stupendously great, but they're great films nonetheless. They do fit into the storyline. There are some inconsistencies like today. Why is it that when in The Empire Strikes Back, when Luke lands on Dagobah and they're looking around for Yoda, and of course, Yoda comes along, doesn't say he's Yoda. We know that. He didn't say, hi, I'm Yoda. How are you? Nice to see you. No, he was just kind of making, he's playing incognito. And, he even has this little struggle with R2-D2. And that's the crux of the story here. R2-D2 was around in the prequel era. And he was around he was around the Senate. He knew who Yoda was. He knew who Yoda was, and he could have just as easily, as soon as he spotted Yoda, said, he doesn't talk, but he makes those little beep, 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 beep. He could have told Luke, hey, that's him, he's right here, that's Yoda right there, but he didn't do it. Why is it that they, and of course there's a reason behind this, and I'll get into that in a minute, but the reality of it is, that's a bit of a problem. What they did in the prequels by including R2-D2 in a prominent position made it a little far-fetched that when you look at Empire Strikes Back that he doesn't recognize Yoda, because even though he may not have shared bunches of scenes with him, he clearly knew who Yoda was. I mean, Yoda was part of the Jedi Council. He was somebody recognizable to Yoda. To R2. And if you watch some of the Clone Wars and so forth, there are actual episodes where the two of them are kind of together. So the reality of it is part of canon, and the fact is he definitely should have recognized them. Now, of course, George Lucas could have had an out. He could have erased R2's memory at the end of the Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3. But he chose not to for a reason, because although it hasn't been talked about a lot, George Lucas had a plan when at the end of the first trilogy, the prequels, he had C-3PO's memory erased. And the reason he didn't have R2's memory erased is because, according to George Lucas, those droids were meant to be in every single movie. And in fact, R2 was meant to actually be the narrator. And that's today's idea of the day. So that's it. That's today's idea of the day. Yeah, some of them are better, I gotta admit. But if you really want to see a new idea each day, some of them are going to be good, some of them are going to suck. What are you going to do? Subscribe and visit ideaoftheday.com.